There's a new allegation. This time, BuzzFeed says one of its reporters was tracked by Uber New York GM Josh Moore by the ride-sharing app's Godview, quote-unquote, technology, which allows Uber employees to see the logs of customer activity. That's one of Uber's issues. Another is the lingering saga involving Uber executive Emil Michael, who said at a dinner party last week that Uber should dig up dirt on journalists unfriendly to the company. Sarah Lacey, editor-in-chief of Pando Daily, the focus of Emil Michael's proposed investigation, joins us now here in the studio. Corey Johnson, our editor-at-large, with us as well. So, Sarah, obviously it's been an incredible 48 hours for you.
This was said at a table full of journalists. Arianna Huffington, Michael Wolff, people from Business Insider. One thought this was wrong. One thought this was wrong and wrote a story under intense intimidation, and that was Ben Smith of BuzzFeed. And I mean, honestly, when he called me, I was on a business trip in London, and I stepped out to talk to him because I have enormous respect for him, and I couldn't imagine what was so important that he needed to talk to me immediately. And I was terrified, and you know, the plan as it was described was not just to dig up dirt. I mean, we're not talking about doing a Google search. We're talking about a $1 million budget, a 4 to 6 staff team to do opposition research on me. That's going through trash. That's following my kids. That's vans parked outside my house. And the idea was we're going to go at her through her family, and we're going to destroy her through her family, and we're going to do it until she backs down, and no one will ever know that Uber did this. So, and one journalist thought this was wrong. So as soon as I heard this, I was terrified, but I also thought, God, thank God he said it to a real journalist, because otherwise he'd be doing it and I'd have no idea.
I want to know how you're feeling right now, because you've upped your own personal security. Security at Pando. Tell us what you're doing.
Well, you know, obviously I don't want to detail it too much because the point is for my family to be safe. I have 2 young kids. And look, I mean, Uber's view was let's hit her at her one vulnerability, her kids. And they succeeded. I'm terrified. We have had to totally redo the security at my house. I, have, personal security that with me and with my children at all times. And here's the important thing is, right now we're in this media firestorm about this, but Emil Michael has not been fired. And we see right after Travis apologizes publicly in Twitter what will go away, what there's no public record of, they have their celebrity investor come out and label me as shady. Oh, he backs away from it, but I'm now labeled as a shady journalist. He's now done a trial balloon of, is this really such a bad thing? They're starting to shift the narrative. I mean, you can see what Travis bragged about at the Code conference in May. This is a political campaign. They've hired political operatives. Watch Scandal. So watch House of Cards. That's what's happening. So when this dies down, there's no repercussions. The board's done nothing. Investors are supporting it, as we've seen today.
What should happen?
They're going to either go forward with their plan or do something worse. Because the story that I did that warranted a $1 million smear campaign, that warranted destroying my family, got nowhere near this amount of press. Got nowhere near this amount of people saying that they were going to, take the app off their phone. Something bad is going to happen.
Do you think that Emil should be fired? I mean, Ken Lehrer put up a post on Twitter saying that if it was a public company, he'd be fired.
Exactly. No, I mean, I think the bare minimum we can all agree on is that Emil Michael should be fired. But this is a deep problem within the company. I mean, as I've been living this horror for the last several days, what strikes me, and one of the things that bothered me about Uber is whenever we would cover these stories about assault of female passengers, and we would call the company and ask them, they would say, well, she was dressed provocatively. Well, she was drinking. It was the classic blame and shame the woman's psychology. Now, imagine a woman is attacked in an Uber in a way that could dent the company's valuation as much as my first article did. She doesn't have the resources of private security. She can't call you guys and come and get on TV and get her side of the story told. I feel like this is not about me. This is about journalists. This is about women getting in their cars. This is about a company culture that thinks it can throw money to destroy people's lives and families in the name of a greater valuation. This is a company that we are trusting with our lives. I know people who put their children in Ubers to drive them around. Women are getting in Ubers very late at night. And yes, sometimes they're dressed provocatively. And sometimes they've had something to drink. That's why they're calling an Uber. That doesn't mean they should be victimized. And if anyone raises question, their personal life gets destroyed. This is horrifying. It's one of two things. It's either they were putting the journalism world on notice, or, and frankly, it would work with a lot of people. They've done other intimidation tactics, not this extreme, that have worked. Or it was they don't think there's anything wrong with it. And so what are the plans that they wouldn't brag about at a dinner? That's why I have private security right now. And look, there's people who say, well, you go after them. Yes, I go after them under my name. I don't get into their personal lives. I've never written anything about their personal lives. And I do it in my name. What they were going to do was dismantle me in a way Uber's fingerprints would never be on. I used to take Uber for a long time. And for a long time, you know, we've started raising questions about this company's ethics and morality since 2012, which is one of the reasons I was the one targeted. And I still used the ride-sharing app up until recently because I really liked a lot of the drivers I interacted with. And I thought even though Travis Kalanick is obviously morally corrupted